Thank you very much. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us on this session about transforming the way your employees engage with you. We're very keen to share with you some thoughts on engagement and show you our Cornerstone functionality for providing engagement surveys. So as mentioned, my name is Lisa Amies. I am the Manager of Client Success Services for Cornerstone in the Asia Pacific region, and today I'm joined by Katie Mangraviti, who is our Principal Solutions Consultant in the region, and she's going to be doing the demonstration of the system, so you'll hear from her in just a moment. Okay, so before we dive into the demonstration portion, what I want to do is talk a little bit about employee engagement. So employee engagement is defined as the level of an employee's psychological investment in their organisation, and there's really three dimensions in regards to measuring and continuing to foster engagement of employees. So those are satisfaction, so how happy people are with their current status as an employee. It helps to predict employee retention. It's also engagement, so how invested they are in their role and doing well in the role that they're in, so helping to predict employee performance. And the final one is commitment. So this is looking at how invested they are in the organisation as a whole. It helps predict, I guess, generally organisational citizenship behaviour, so who's going above and beyond what's in their job description. So moving beyond that to talk about the state of employee engagement right now, generally speaking it's seen as being in kind of a crisis situation. So there is low employee engagement generally across the world. If you look at surveys that have been run, the Gallup survey, which looks at employees worldwide, only 13% of employees are indicating that they're engaged with their organisation. Taking that to this region, so the Asia Pacific region, the survey, which was the Tiny Pulse survey, there are 28% of employees engaged. So we're doing better than the world average. However, we are also well below where ideally organisations would like their employees to be. Looking at the Asia Pacific statistics specifically, when people looked at whether employees could identify their organisation's vision and mission and cultural values, only about half of employees were actually able to do that for their organisation. And in Asia specifically, communication was highlighted as one of those things where there was a big gap from manager to employee. Now, I guess the question with all of this is why it matters, so why you should need to know. So if you have a look at the impact low engagement has, it actually has a strong impact on the bottom line of organisations. So it's fast becoming one of the biggest competitive differentiators between organisations. When an organisation has engaged employees, they're more productive, they're happier, and they stay longer, so they're more loyal. Organisations that have a high engagement generally have 59% less or decreased turnover. They have a 21% increased profitability, and there's 41% less absenteeism. So there's a really good business reason for being focused on engagement, and you see more and more articles and blogs and things focused on particularly at this point. However, what you see in those is a clear message that what we're doing at the moment isn't working. So, as we've seen from statistics earlier, most employees just aren't engaged. So looking at different surveys, so this is looking at the global human capital trends in 2016, 18% of organisations actually don't measure employee engagement. So they don't have that view of where their employees are in regards to engagement. 8% of organisations measure engagement on a monthly or a more frequent basis, and only 4% of organisations felt that they were actually good at engaging the different generations that were within their workplace. So generally speaking, there's a need to rethink employee engagement. So with Cornerstone, we have a solution that we're introducing or have introduced that helps capture real-time continuous employee feedback and analyse and take action. So not just understanding where your employees are, but actually being able to interpret those results in a way that you're actually going to be able to take action and improve them. So 3 key facets of the tool. One is around being able to capture continuous feedback. So rather than it being something that happens once a year, you can actually do pulse surveying where you capture short, relevant and frequent surveys. You can analyse and take action using our dashboards and reporting tools. And because it's unified with your talent management system, it creates a holistic business strategy around engagement and talent management. So on that note, I'm very keen to hear from you guys around what you're currently doing. So we're going to open up a survey. And what I'd like you to do is to indicate how often you seek feedback from your, on your engagement activities. So if you can, you see it has popped up on your screen. If you can select which one applies most to you and submit your response, and then once you've done that, you'll be able to close that window. And while you're finishing that off, I'm going to hand over now to Katie, who's going to be able to take you through a quick demonstration.
Thanks, Lisa.
Okay. So it's giving you guys a little bit longer to finish adding in your feedback on the survey, and then we'll move over to the demonstration. Okay, over to you, Katie.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa, for that introduction. So as Lisa mentioned, the Cornerstone Engage tool allows you to basically push surveys out to your organization at different times throughout the year. And the power of that is allowing you to choose really simply and easily to create your own quarterly engagement surveys, yearly or even daily pulse surveys within the platform. The system does also come with pre-built questions, and these have been built by the Cornerstone IO psychologists, and they come ready to go within the solution for you. So it literally is a tool that you can turn on and go and send out a survey within days to your organization. What I'm going to take you through today is firstly the experience from an employee's perspective, so a way that they can complete a mobile pulse survey and also an action that you've assigned out to them. And then later we'll review the dashboard that you see on the screen and how easily you can access those data sets as that HR or individual within your organization. So first, you can see here on my mobile app that you have the ability to provide that daily pulse survey that people can respond to. So this could be simply asking them questions about how they feel today, what they feel about the organization, and from a question type perspective, it can be a smiley that you can see here, or you also have the ability to include words as well. So if you want them to describe the culture or describe how they currently feel within the organization. So that is a way that if you wanted to quickly and easily provide that out to your employees on their mobile devices that they can access and complete on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis as needed. Another way that you can assign a survey out to your team is an action within Cornerstone. So I can see here that I have all of my talent management actions in one place, and one of those actions could be an engagement survey. With these surveys, as we mentioned, you choose the time of year that you would like them to be sent out and also who within the business that is sent to. I can see here when I launch this survey that it actually has opened a new window because it is anonymizing me as an individual. So we ensure that all of the data that you're collecting for these surveys are anonymous. You do hold the attributes of the employees against that data to allow you to report against different dimensions, but you're not able to see who that individual is and how they responded to that survey. How we do this is when I look at the results within the report, I'm only able to see results from a specific attribute if 5 people who meet that attribute have responded to that data set. So that can ensure that that stays anonymous across your business. So what you've just seen there is 2 ways that you can have your employees complete those surveys. One is from the mobile device, which is usually focused on those pulse surveys, and the other is via an action within Cornerstone. We do also have a 3rd way that you can assign a survey as well, and that can be just via an email. So if you didn't want people to need to log into Cornerstone, you can simply send them out an email where they can then click a link which will open them to a browser and they can go through and complete the survey via that email. So as people are completing the surveys, one of the other great benefits of this is you actually can access the results and data in real time. So there's no need to wait for a third-party organisation to collate your results and provide them to you. As that HR executive or the person who's in charge of reviewing these results, you have complete visibility of this data. If you wanted to, you can even provide this access down to managers for them to review that for their team, or to review it for potentially a division or a business area that they're a director of. So here I can see on my dashboard the live results that are coming in from these surveys. And I will take you through the different filters that you have available to see here. But as Lisa mentioned, we break down our surveys into 3 key areas, which is the satisfaction, engagement, and commitment. This allows you to actually send different surveys focusing on the different areas, and you can also do this at different times throughout the year. So we typically see the satisfaction being a more regular survey, so those mobile pulse surveys, and engagement and commitment typically being, maybe once or twice a year that is being completed by employees. So as I'm looking at my dashboard here, I can simply just move across to the next type if I wanted to review engagement results versus satisfaction results, and I have the same for commitment as well. You will also see here that you have the ability to filter via week, month, year, or lifetime. So this can allow me to easily see within my organisation of is our satisfaction changing over time? Or do we potentially have trends within our organisation that at the beginning of the year in January that we have a highly satisfied workforce, but maybe when it gets to the end of the year that satisfaction reduces? Or if we correlate this with some activities going on with our business, we will maybe be able to see potentially around performance review time whether that satisfaction or engagement increases or decreases across the business. But it gives you that complete flexibility to look and review these statistics across those different time periods. So what I can also see here is a score. So I can see what is our current satisfaction score across our organisation, and I'll show you in a second how I can filter this for different parts of the business. But what I can see here is currently we're 66 out of 100, so that's basically saying we're above average right now from a satisfaction perspective. But I can actually see that this is reduced down by 7 points from our last satisfaction survey. And you'll also see if I go to month or year that this also changes as well. So I can see that we're actually up plus 66% from the prior month. So it's allowing you to, again, see those trends over time, but specifically see how we increased or decreased from that previous period. As I continually drill down, I can then see the different results across our different business areas. So within Cornerstone, you have the ability to hold your organisational unit structures, whether that's your divisions, your positions, your locations, or other attributes. And I can then filter and review my engagement results by these attributes. So here within my demonstration organisation, I can see that our Asia Pacific region and US division are quite satisfied. I can see specifically that the US have an individual satisfaction, which is very, very high. But I can see EMEA part of the business is actually, very unsatisfied right now. So with this really nice, easy to review heat map, I can easily see what part of the business do I need to focus on to have that intervention to hopefully improve satisfaction across the business. I can also drill down into these metrics as well. So now as I look down into that Asia Pacific region, I can look across the different lower level regions of Australia versus China versus India and see those different results here. And I can continually drill down as far as your organizational data goes that you feed into Cornerstone. As mentioned, you can also review this for different attribute sets as well. So as you can see here, if I filter this by position, I'm then able to see the results of the different positions people hold and how they have responded. You'll see here that I can see how many people have responded, so 4 out of 469 who have that position. But because we have not hit that 5 threshold, I'm not actually able to see the specific results. But anyone who has 5 and above, I can actually see their results against those engagement metrics. If I move up to the top, this is where I can turn on and off those filters. So you can actually do specific campaign filters as well. So if you're sending out different campaigns across the business, whether it's a quarterly, yearly or pulse survey, you could choose to filter those results just by that specific campaign that you have assigned out to the business as well. As you have that complete flexibility to manage and administer the campaigns yourself, you could choose to send campaigns out, to new starters, and they could have a different campaign to people who have mainly potentially been with the business longer. So if we move this back to division, and we can see that heat map of our red and our green, as I move down, I can also then start actually looking at what is actually affecting these scores. So what is affecting whether we're a 66 or a 77% for our satisfaction? So Cornerstone uses the Kendall rank correlation coefficient to calculate our driver scores. And this is what is allowing me to see within these reports is what are the specific attributes that we're having our employees respond to that is affecting that overall score. So these driver results are a plus 100 to a minus 100 number. And the higher the number it is what is affecting that score in more detail. So for example, if I have a stronger driver, that's the area that I want to actually focus on to make that change within that business. So if I have more people are dissatisfied with that, if I actually have people more satisfied, it's going to have the biggest impact on our overall satisfaction. So I can see here that right now I am encouraged to learn from my mistakes. If this is something that we actually have a stronger improvement with across the business, so more people strongly agree with that, it's actually going to improve our satisfaction result significantly. I can also drill into these drivers, and what I can see here is how these have changed over time and the spread of results. So I can see here in our Q3 results that actually we had a greater percentage who strongly agreed with this remark, and that this has actually reduced, and there has been quite a heavy increase in people who strongly disagree. So this is why this is having a very, big impact on that overall satisfaction result score that we have. I'm also able to drill into the specific questions that we've asked as well. And what I wanted to show you here is if you have those question words, I'm able to easily see what are those most heavily used words across the business. So I can see here by the size of that word in my word cloud of what is the most common word, and I can see empower, hard, great, and passionate are really how people describing the culture that we have within our organization. So going back to that engagement dashboard, as you can see, it is really simple for employees to complete those engagement surveys, whether it is something that you're assigning to them as a pulse survey that they complete at any time, or an annual survey, and also you really can see your results in real time, see how those changes are affecting your overall satisfaction, engagement, commitment to allow you to really make those changes within your business. Lisa, back to you. How did we go with that poll?
Thanks, Katie. Okay, so we'll display the poll. Okay, so just while we're waiting for the poll results to pop back up, here we go, perfect. So you can see we've got quite a mix across all the different frequency in regards to seeking feedback. By far the most common is annually, and if you add in the, even less frequently than annually, that takes up 65% of the responses. A few people on the line are looking at seeking feedback more often, so they're looking at it either quarterly or half yearly. And then there's a small portion that aren't seeking feedback at all, but the majority of those people are looking at actually, they've got plans in the works in order to start seeking feedback on engagement activities. So that's perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to close that page and bring us back to the presentation. So I just want to remind everyone around the opportunity to ask questions through the chat panel that you've got. I can see there are some questions coming in, but if you've got any that you're thinking of that you haven't asked yet, you've got an opportunity to ask those now. To give you guys time to do that, I'm going to cover off some key messages from this webinar, and then I'm going to move on to the questions that have been asked. So in summary, the key takeaways from the session, generally speaking, organisations are challenged with effectively engaging their workforce, driving an organisational culture where there's engaged employees, as well as measuring and assessing engagement across their employees. There's also challenges around getting employee feedback on a regular basis and having the data to understand and the tools to actually really analyse the responses that they get in order to be able to create not just an action plan but one that is timely. And regarding the Cornerstone Engage tool itself, it enables you to create and schedule recurring continuous feedback campaigns. It allows you to capture, analyse and take action on real-time employee feedback. It allows you to track the effectiveness of the action plans over time so you can see the impact the work that you're doing is having and be able to report that. And also it will drive culture and direct organisational growth. So on that note, I'm going to just quickly dive into the questions there. So starting with the question there from Martin. Katie, the question being asked is whether we provide any industry benchmarking. Sorry, Katie, are you there?
Sorry, it is something that we are moving towards and offering first half of next year. So we'll be partnering with an organisation to allow you to then benchmark against other organisations, and this will be available within the Cornerstone benchmarking tool.
Cool, perfect. Thank you. There's also a question here just around whether the survey questions are translated or there's a way to push them out in different languages in different locations.
Yes, there definitely are. So the 106 questions that come with Engage are pre-translated across our 43 languages. And any extra questions you add in or data that you add in, you have the ability to translate that on entry as well.
Perfect. So you very handily just answered Nicola's question. So she was asking around whether you can only use what Cornerstone provides or whether you can create your own. So you've just answered that you can create your own as well. So that's great.
Yes, you definitely have that ability to create your own on top of the ones that we provide.
Perfect. Okay, so the next question that we've got coming in is around reminders. So if there was a low response, can reminders be sent out to increase the number of responses?
There can be. So when you're configuring your campaign, you can choose what is the communication plan that you have around that campaign and when you would like to remind people.
Okay, perfect. And then at this stage, this is the final question we've got, but we'll see if any others come in. So can staff go directly into a survey from an email rather than having to log into a system?
Yes, they definitely can. So if you choose to send the campaign out via email, they purely just click the link and it will open the browser for them to complete that campaign via the email, and no need to log in.
Cool. Perfect. Just pause for a moment to allow anyone to ask any final questions. Just to see someone was typing. Okay. Okay, so here's another question. So would this work for a survey that's done every 2 years, or is the functionality designed for surveys that are done more regularly?
It would definitely also work for a survey done every 2 years. With that report dashboard, you saw you can compare the results yearly and also over a lifetime as well. So definitely it gives you the flexibility to have a bi-yearly survey, an annually, or even more regular as well.
Perfect. Okay, that seems to be all the questions. So thank you guys for joining us for the Transform the Way Your Employees Get Engage with You webinar. So today's webinar has been recorded, so you will receive a link to the recording and the slides via email tomorrow. And if you would like any additional information on Engage, you're welcome to contact your account representative, client success manager, or if you request a call from our website, which is cornerstoneondemand.com.au, someone will give you a call back to discuss any questions that you have. So I hope you'll join us again for any future webinars. I hope you enjoyed the session. And with that, I'll leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your day.